Hi, I'm Ross McPherson, President of Career Quest and the resume and LinkedIn expert for BeyondBSchool.com. Now, you already know that in today's job market, you need both a resume and a LinkedIn profile. It serves your career and your brand better, and recruiters and employers frankly expect to see both. I've even heard of candidates being rejected for not having one or the other because it suggests you're just simply not in touch with today's job market. So you need both. However, as a career professional who writes both resumes and LinkedIn profiles for my clients, I see every mistake made. And probably one of the biggest and most common mistakes I see is that the same person's resume and LinkedIn profile don't align properly. The point is they can't afford to be completely different. That makes sense. But they also can't afford to be carbon copies of each other. The trick is both of these tools need to do a great job marketing your brand, your value proposition, your unique value. But the message, in other words, should convey the same things about you, but they need to be done in a different way. They should complement each other, not copy each other. So in this video, I'm going to run through some of the most important points that show you how your resume and LinkedIn profile should be aligned, where they can be similar, where they should be different, what to do, what not to do. Let's start with the obvious. Point number one, name, dates, and titles have to match. You'd think this is a no-brainer, but I see it all the time, and so do recruiters. If your name, job titles, or dates are presented one way in your resume, but then you look at your LinkedIn profile and they don't match, that's a red flag. Recruiters do compare the documents, they do, and when they don't line up, they either get confused or don't know which one is telling the truth, and that reflects on you. So with your name, pick one way you want it to appear everywhere and make this your brand. Don't be Jennifer Smith on your resume and Jen Smith on your LinkedIn and maybe Jen B. Smith on your business card. However you have your name on your resume or business card, that's how they'll look for you on LinkedIn. So pick one and make it consistent. With job titles, simple. Job titles have to match exactly. That one's important. With dates, the years have to match exactly. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to include months in your resume if you didn't include months in your resume to begin with, but the years have to line up. Point number two, your LinkedIn headline can be similar but not identical. If you've seen some of my other videos, you've seen how to build great headlines for your resume and LinkedIn profiles. Chances are the two headlines are going to look very similar, and they should, but they shouldn't be identical. Here's an example of a headline at the top of a resume. Now this is perfect. It clarifies who this person is and positions him right up front. But if you tried to just cut and paste this into your LinkedIn headline, it simply wouldn't work. It's structured differently, the two headlines are formatted differently, and chances are it won't fit properly, either too short or too long, and you want to be as close to those 120 characters that LinkedIn gives you as possible. Here's how the resume headline could be translated into a LinkedIn headline. As you can see, since the LinkedIn headline is formatted a little differently and with 120 characters to work with, we had to adjust things a little bit. We added a few abbreviations, which is fine to get a little bit more content in there, like his degrees, 12 years experience, etc. We were also able to add his current job title, Director at AI Ventures. So you can see it's slightly different, but still brands him in the same way as his resume does. This way, the two headlines complement each other, each appearing fresh without being identical. Point number three, you need a new summary with the same message. Remember I said that your resume and LinkedIn profile are read differently. Nowhere is this more true than in your summary. Please do not cut and paste the profile from your resume to the top of your summary. Chances are it's too short, has the wrong tone. You want to get the same message across, but there are three significant differences with LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn summary, one, needs to open with a strong sentence. That's critical. Two, needs to be more conversational. And three, needs to provide much more detail. So let me show you an example. Here's a great summary or profile from the top of a resume. This works great at the top of a resume. It's concise, it positions and distinguishes Shay for a senior technology marketing role, and it showcases his specific expertise with mobile, cloud, IoT, security, and visualization technologies. Also highlights his strengths in marketing strategy, sales enablement, relationship building, negotiations, and leadership. It's concise and impactful. But while this works on a resume, this format and approach needs to be adjusted to work well in LinkedIn. Right now, it's just too short for a summary. Still lacks that conversational tone that works best in LinkedIn, and it's not capitalizing on the full 2,000 characters LinkedIn gives you. So here's how I translated that resume profile into a powerful LinkedIn summary. You see, on LinkedIn, we get to say so much more. Since LinkedIn only shows you the first 2 lines of a summary, you'll see we make that opening sentence particularly strong, designed to draw them in and entice them to click to see more. The tone is also much more conversational, with phrases like my expertise in my current role with ABC Tech, and even showing a little personality with phrases like I love big ideas, etc. And because we have a full 2,000 characters, we can go into much more detail about his current position, about previous accomplishments, his particular approach, attributes, even key skill areas, etc. And believe it or not, this summary actually is only about 1,600 characters. And this is only one way you can construct your summary. There are so many different ways, but you get the idea on how you need to translate a resume profile into a new and much more dynamic LinkedIn summary. And by the way, if you want to learn more about the various ways you can build these different types of summaries and profiles, check out my other video on building powerful LinkedIn summaries. Point number 4, you can copy experience. The experience section is the only place on LinkedIn where I'm okay with you copying the strong content you have in your resume. You can change the tone a little bit if you want. Make it more conversational. For example, instead of opening with directed all business development activities, blah, 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 you could say, I directed all business development activities, or I was brought in to direct all business development activities, and make it more conversational that way. But that's entirely up to you. One situation where it might be important to be different in the experience section is if you had to cut your bullets short because of available space in your resume. You probably have more room in LinkedIn. So you might be able to sneak another bullet or two, or another great accomplishment that you simply didn't have room to include in your resume. Point number 5, make certain the skills match. This is another mistake I see a lot of with my clients' resumes and LinkedIn profiles. The resume highlights certain skills they want to be known for, sometimes in a keyword table, for example, but the LinkedIn profile highlights entirely different skills. Or the skills outlined in the resume are stuck at the bottom of the list of skills on LinkedIn. If this is the case, the skills simply don't align. So if these are the highlighted skills in your resume, marketing strategy, brand positioning, competitive analysis, VOC analysis, sales enablement, digital marketing, experiential marketing, if those are the skills you're highlighting in your resume, make certain that the skills listed in your LinkedIn profile match, especially the top 3 that you want to be known for, as those appear first. List them, get as many endorsements as you can for them, or at least rearrange them to get the skills you want to be known for nearest the top. And if there are any older skills listed in your LinkedIn, skills that have been there forever or that you don't necessarily need to highlight anymore, feel free to get rid of them or move them to the very bottom. But the skills have to align. Point number 6, elaborate in other relevant sections. Now this one is simple. If you have other relevant things like certifications, courses, volunteer activities, organizations, awards, projects, patents, publications, you name it, by all means include them in both your resume and your LinkedIn profile. And you may even have the opportunity to include more detail on these in your LinkedIn profile. If you were limited for space on your resume and couldn't include everything or couldn't go into detail on that relevant or fantastic volunteer role or project, you probably have room to add that detail on LinkedIn, so go for it. Just keep it to the relevant and important stuff. And the last point, point number 7, add the color your resume lacks. This point isn't exactly about where your resume and LinkedIn profile are similar, but it's an important final point to make so that your resume and LinkedIn profile truly complement each other. While there's a lot we can do to create a dynamic resume, even at their best, they're still pretty black and white conservative documents, let's face it. LinkedIn, on the other hand, allows you to add a little bit more color to your branding. And if done correctly, each document showcases the same things about you, but in very distinct and fresh ways. So here's how to add that little extra spark to LinkedIn to complement your resume and create a really great overall brand presentation. Add more relevant content and keywords. In many places, LinkedIn is longer and gives you more space and more characters to add more content and keywords. Take full advantage of that. Add photos, videos, presentations, etc. If your resume spoke about something great you did, LinkedIn is where you can actually show it. Link to photos, video presentations, articles, etc. to enrich your profile and back up your resume content. And you could add a background photo. Right now, LinkedIn defaults everyone to the same background at the top, this one here. But you can change it to something quite dynamic and fitting your brand, maybe something to do with your industry. If you're in manufacturing or targeting manufacturing, for example, maybe an image of a manufacturing plant or something like that. You get the idea. but that's how you do it. That's how you align your resume and your LinkedIn profile. It's imperative that they promote the same message about you and your value, but they need to do it in different ways and allow you to do it in different ways. It's kind of subtle in spots, but it's really important. Yes, it requires more effort and more writing, and I know you probably hate me for that, but I promise you if you make them both work together, make them complement each other in the right ways, you'll get better results, more traction, and more interest for the right roles. I'm Ross McPherson. Best of luck to you.